Hello Libra, thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn, supportive oracle cards, chakra wisdom oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen Raish Baskin, I believe. So there's the spelling and the information for those people if you'd like to find other things that do. Okay. There's a lot, all at once. Is it good, bad, or indifferent? I guess we'll find out. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. We only go so far with the oracle cards. Like, I feel like they're letting you know that a situation might change drastically. I'm kind of thinking completely. Okay. This might be the process of definitely a big change, because we go from oracle cards only to tarot cards only, which I don't remember the last time I did that. But starting off, you got destiny, but it says holic the way it came down. It reminds me of holistic. I don't know why we're going. For some of you, I guess that'll make sense. The actual card is workaholic, just to be fair, if I can push it far enough. You got involved very deep. Whether you meant to or not, I guess that doesn't matter at this point. You did get very deep in the situation. And when you did that, you served the purpose that the universe wanted you to serve. Oh, I don't know what to say about that. Whether it went well or didn't, it was meant to happen the way it happened. I feel like for a lot of you, this didn't go exactly the way you wanted it to. But they're saying you made a change here. Your involvement in what happened, maybe it doesn't look right now, but later it'll actually make more sense. In some respect. I just feel like there's a lot of you involved in something like, I don't know about that. There's like, just leave it to the universe. Something else is going to come from this. You did what you needed to do. You served the purpose you needed to serve. You did what the universe needed to get done. I just have this weird feeling that you're not... Whatever the situation is, I just don't feel like you left it in a... I don't know, did you leave it? It just doesn't feel good. I just don't like it. I feel like it kind of like, I guess, if that's the way it's supposed to be, but I don't like it. How's that? It's kind of like when you're a kid and they want you to eat liver, you're like, if I have to, I don't really want to. It's kind of like that, like, oh, I don't really want to. Or some food that you don't like, you know what I mean? Perception with the insecurity... They're saying it's all about how you're seeing it. It's kind of like, you know, somebody else telling you about a book, but never really reading it yourself. It's one of those things that's like, your perception is all based on what they're telling you. You don't have the book in front of you. You're trying to find something you want to read that's interesting to you, and somebody's telling you what it is, and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound that great. Literally, it might be just their interpretation of the book. Like, you know, one person likes one thing, the other person doesn't. Some people like technical things, some people like them more fluid and more poetic. So whatever it was, it's kind of like you could read the same book and you might like it and they might hate it. But you only got what their impression and you don't realize it. It's almost like you don't realize what type of books they actually resonate towards. One of those things. Perception. It's all about perception. You're blocked to know how this... Because the soulmate card in the environment to me is telling me it did work out exactly how it needed to. The guilt crossing it is like... There's a lot of like blocked information. It's like a lot happened behind closed doors that you have no idea about. No idea. Things did work out the way they needed to. Guilt is blocking it though. It's kind of like... I feel like the guilt is literally people do want to tell you, but for whatever reason they can't. They can't. It's just, they're blocked. The guilt block is kind of like they want to, they can't. Alright, so this is how this is coming to this next, like we're transitioning in these next few cards. Renewal with prayer. See, when this starts up again, you're not about it. I don't feel like you really like it, but on the same note, you're like, but maybe, I'm getting that energy. But maybe now we can balance this. Maybe now we can make this work out the way it should have worked out. ironically, again, there's a lot missing here. You don't realize it did work out the way it was supposed to. You're not connected with the energy like you need to. I don't want to say that in the sense of like, it's not like you did anything wrong. Like, you don't have the full course to know exactly what's going on here. It's not like you're doing anything wrong. I think that came off wrong. It's kind of like to understand how this is really fair, you need a lot more information that you don't have access to. So to be able to see it in that light, there's a lot more you would need that you don't have. That's what I'm saying. And it's coming in again. And you got recovery coming in on your side. Like, I'm going to make this time, I'm not, no, this is going to work out this time. It's kind of like this time it's going to be different. Enlightenment and self-worth are like, people are knowing, whoever you're connected with, they know that you're very motivated, and this is not really fair to like do this to you. It's not fair to have you put so much effort to try to make things right, and then people balance it out for you, but never let you know that you actually did the right thing and it did work out right, and you're just kind of looking there like, I don't understand what went wrong, when it really didn't. And people know that's not fair. There's that guilt energy again. Like, people know like you're putting so much energy into this. It's not fair to do this to the Libra. Don't do this to the Libra. Are we still recording? What did I touch? Are we still recording? We are still recording. Okay. That's what I should not be touching the screen. Okay. Okay, they know. The Death card comes in peculiar. This is the beginning of the tarot cards, obviously. Somebody is offering you an out. The situation is definitely going to be different this time. And somebody's bringing this forward to you, kind of like, I'm not going to be a part of this. You can come with me if you want. And when they leave, they might actually tell you some things that they're not supposed to. Kind of like, you didn't hear it from me, but, and don't tell anybody you heard it from me. Even though I'm leaving, don't bring my name into anything. Do yourself that favor. Here, I'm leaving. You could leave too, but since I'm going, this, by the way, this. You didn't hear it from me, I get that again. Now, I'm kind of curious to like what extent they're leaving. It's almost like they might just be leaving the project or the situation. They might still be around, but they're like, I'm not going to be a part of that anymore, but I can tell you what actually happened before. Don't bring my name into it. Don't tell people I told you, but I'm going to tell you this. Because I think part of the reason they're leaving is because they feel bad about it. And they're just like, they can't do this again to you. And they're like, if I am a part of it, I can't say anything. But if I'm leaving, I'm just going to play stupid. They shouldn't be asking me questions anyway. So I'm gonna push it. I'm going to push it and say what I want to say. This is on your side. The energy is a lot slower all of a sudden. A lot slower. Like, wait a minute, what? Because they're not giving you all of the pieces. They're just filling in a couple blanks that you didn't know. And they're kind of putting it out there that, you know, see that road over there? I know you don't know where it goes, but other people do. Just saying. And you're kind of like, what? I gotta go. And then they leave you with things like that. Like, you know that road? It goes somewhere. It goes somewhere. They're giving you like hints. It's a little cryptic, and that's just why the energy slows down noticeably. Kind of like, okay. Like, are you playing a game with me? Like, what are you doing with me? You got the Ten of Wands and the Eight of Cups too. Kind of like, the fact that this one person is stepping out of the situation, you're like, yeah, but I like you. It's kind of like when somebody you work with leaves or gets another job, and you're like, yeah, but I like you. I don't want you to go. If I'm going to stay, I want you to stay. Like, aw. Like, don't leave me. Don't leave me with these wolves. No, it's not that bad, but it's kind of like that. It makes me laugh. Again, the High Priestess, like, wait a minute, I got some of this. And you're close enough to realize they're telling me that I need to look closer on certain things. They're kind of giving me a hint. See that road? It leads somewhere. Kind of like you need to center your efforts over this way if you want to really find out what the deal is here. Because I don't think they're totally like leaving for the most part. Some of the people you might be working with, yeah, maybe they're going, bye, we're done. But others, I feel like they're still around in some respect. So they're not like totally giving you all the answers just because they're like, well, they're going to realize that somebody told you and they're going to figure out it was probably me and I can't have that. So even if you don't say my name, the fact that you know, they're going to be like, well, wait a minute. Who would have told them? Empress comes in. Love this card. Love this card. This is that energy. Let's just do that because it's in the environment. This is that energy. I take care of you and myself. I always say this with this card. I think it's this card. The Empress too, or the Empress and the no, it's the Empress I'm thinking of. Definitely the Empress. I take care of you, but I also take care of me, and you need to take care of me as well. Like I take care of you, but we need to take care of each other. And the Empress, when she's really strong, she helps pretty much everybody. But she also says, hey, look out for me too. I need stuff too. If you keep helping me, I can keep helping you. And I'll keep looking out for you, and I'll do what I can. Granted, the Empress does a lot, and usually people can't keep up with her. But when this is in balance, she's like, yeah, and you look out for me too, and you help me too. And like when you have extra, you share with me too, because I share it with you. One hand washes the other. And I feel like this is really starting to congeal. And it's different this time. It's a lot different. It's almost like you're going to this situation and the same movie is starting to play. And you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm the one who's upset about how that last one played out. I didn't think it was right, but these people don't seem to be. In fact, they seem to be excited to do the same thing again. They seem to like it. They're going back into the same pattern, and they want to. Seven of Pentacles to me is the same pattern sometimes. Continuing on that same effort, continuing on. And you're like, wait a minute. Why do they like it so much, but I don't? This comes in, and I'm trying to figure out what, because I'm getting like, it's not about what's said, it's about what's happening. You know what I mean? It's not about like what people are telling you or what this one's saying about. It's not that. It's not about the verbal information, the written information. It's about you can see. It's kind of like when somebody makes a cake and gives it to somebody. It's how they're doing it, the care in which they're making it, the urgency, the urgency or lack of urgency they're taking it over there, and how they're acting when they present that. Are they happy? Are they not happy? It's about all those little things, and that's where you're getting this Knight of Cups. It does feel like the Knight of Cups. I'm calling it the Knight of Cups. It technically says Prince, but I'm feeling Knight. So I'm going with it. That's how you're going to find your answers. It's the in-between. What's going on in between the lines, It's all that. This is where you're just like, wait a minute. Wait. That seems like they wouldn't like that, but they seem so overjoyed. Like, why are they so happy about that? Like, cleaning out the trash and you're happy about that? And you're watching what's going on, and you're like, oh. Instead of having to deal with that cranky person over there who's really nasty to them, they opted to do the trash, even though the trash is a nasty job too. It's much better than dealing with that person. Oh. So wait a minute. What else is going on here? That's where you're going to find your answers, looking in between the lines. It's not about what people are saying, it's how they're acting. Very much, very much. You will definitely talk about things like you don't just work on observation. It's one of your tools, I get that. But we got a couple more things coming in here. People may be talking very well about things, but you're seeing the truth behind it. Like, this might be the outward energy, but when you're looking closer, I know it's like swords is not just communication. It's also about what brain work, observing, absorbing, seeing what's really happening, observing it with your eyes and ears. Like, it's not just verbalization, it's also thought, what's going on in your brain. And you're starting to see, like, wait a minute, it looks so bad on the outside, but if you really start looking into it, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't, maybe there's clues here that I was missing. You got to observe. It's all about the observation. Slow it down a lot, because I feel like what the next step is, because Libra is really good at communicating, is not going into conversations trying to get information verbally, but setting up situations so that people go into these things and you can see, like, like getting them to do this or getting them to do that, but not, I don't know, so you can see how they're handling it. Can you see how they interact with each other? What are they doing with this? And when they do it, do they go straight right to the source, or do they go a roundabout? Do they do a little bit curly Q? What are they doing? I feel like that's where you're really finding your answers here. Slow it down, see what's going on. Your card comes out from this. Now there is the tinge. Okay, why not? The tinge. I was almost gonna say tangent, but it came out tinge. The Five of Pentacles with the Justice. You got to use what's to your advantage here. People aren't telling you exactly what's going on. There's a lot of tight-lipped action going on here. But that doesn't have to stop you from finding the truth. The Justice card is on your side. When you really find out what's going here, I feel like it's gonna adjust what you're doing and adjust where you're going and how you're going to handle things. And I feel like you're going to find a lot more peace in this situation when you start looking between the lines and debunking it and like, all right, that's what we're saying, but that's what we're doing. We're saying happy birthday, but we're really kind of saying go screw yourself with the verbal, or the way we're saying it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, happy birthday. You know what I mean? It's if you just look at it on paper, oh, happy birthday, that looks nice enough. But you see somebody say, oh, happy birthday, like, you know, sarcastically, it's different. That's where you're getting all your answers. And you have to set up combinations of people and see how they interact with each other. That's how, it's not just like seeing how somebody says something. You have to set up the context of like who's around who and when's it happening. You know that. I feel like you already know that. Then you'll find peace with the situation. Then you'll be able to be like, okay, wait a minute. Let me do this because this fits better. This actually does make sense. And then you can be happy like everybody else can be happy. Nobody wants to admit to anything for whatever reason. But you'll at least have figured out what's actually going on behind the scenes here, and you'll feel a lot better. You'll be a lot happier. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.